So guys, we are inside of our Zongru stage account. Now, what does that mean? This means that you're getting a fresh look at what's coming up. So this should look very familiar to you. This is Keywords on Fire. If you've used Zongru before, if you've used any of our keyword tools, this is probably where you've started. Now, why am I starting here? Well, because Listing Optimizer is super connected with Keywords on Fire, as you probably know. Keywords on Fire helps you generate the keywords that are most relevant to your listing and help you better understand which keywords are going to drive more eyeballs, more clicks on your listing, and ultimately get you more sales. But Listing Optimizer, on the other hand, shows you where to place them to get the most impact. And with some really cool updates, we've actually allowed you the ability to compare your listing against your competition's listings, and a whole bunch of other features, which I'm going to jump into in a second. So for the rest of this presentation, the demo, it should take about 20-30 minutes. We are going to be looking at an example that some of you have probably seen before. I've done these in other training videos, but I do think it's a very, very good private label product, a good example for a lot of different reasons. We're going to be looking at herb garden starter kits. Now, why is this a good product opportunity? Well, it's got really healthy demand, really healthy competition, a wide spread of keywords to take advantage of, whether or not you're targeting short tail or long tail. And it's an interesting category. It's visually stimulating. The sellers in the space, they really do implement the private label tactics that ourselves at Zongru and our partners over at Reliable Education like to teach and try to promote. And that's, trying to create a visually differentiated product, maybe that's functionally different as well, is unique in one way or another that just allows you to stand out on page one. Now, a lot of the sellers have gotten very good at this, and so this becomes a little bit more of a competitive product category, but it's still fun nonetheless, and one that I'm pretty comfortable with at this point. So just really quickly, I want to, before we jump over into the Listing Optimizer updates, just give you guys a quick peek at the Keywords on Fire list of keywords. All right, cool. Cool. So what do we see here? Well, we've got a list of 299 keywords. To generate these keywords, we analyzed the top 25 sellers for Herb Garden Starter Kit, and cumulatively, we have revenue of $6.12 million of potential revenue if we were to optimize and drive every single sale for every one of these keywords. It's not possible, obviously, but we want to try to optimize for as much of that as possible, and then optimize for as much of the search volume as possible. So we've got some really great keywords in here. We've got Herb Garden Starter Kit Indoor. That's a really high value one. You can see by the ZG score, Herb Garden, Indoor Herb Garden, Herb Planter, herbs, basil plants. I'm just giving you guys a little bit of a feel for a second on what this stuff looks like. Because these are the keywords that we're going to be trying to understand how the current sellers for herb garden starter kits are optimized for. Now, before I leave Keywords on Fire, this is going to be a really valuable tip for anybody that doesn't know this right now. If you click on this gear icon, you get to customize the columns that you see. And by default, we do deselect the ZG launch and the competitor position. So these might be new columns for you if you haven't seen this tip before. The ZG launch is the number of units that you should aim to sell daily to rank on the first page for that keyword. So for example, Herb Garden Starter Kit Indoor, it's recommended that you sell at least 13 units a day. And on this side over here, we can see the top 25 sellers and where they currently rank for those keywords. Now, why is that important? Well, because if you see some of these green numbers or a lot of dashed lines, that means that the top 25 sellers, your main competition, aren't ranking in the first 150 positions. And those might be good keywords for you to implement into your listing. Okay, cool. So that's just a quick look at the keywords that we would potentially want to optimize for. This is our list, right? Pretty simple, straightforward. Now, before we go over to Listing Optimizer, let's take a look at just kind of the scenario here. I'm pretending like this is our listing. We sell this product. This is a really good, I think this is the 4th or 5th ranked product for Herb Garden Starter Kit. And this is the Herbs in the Burbs. I've done an unboxing video on this. That was pretty fun. And actually we've grown these plants and they're alive somewhere in my house, which is kind of cool. And this is our main competition. We've got the Indoor Herb Garden Growing Seed Kit from the Happy Nest store. We've got this one from Spade to Fork, and we've got the Planter's Choice Herb Garden Starter Kit. So why is it important for me to show you this? Well, because functionally, Listing Optimizer just got way better. It's super valuable. You're already probably noticing this doesn't look like it typically does inside of Listing Optimizer. Usually you just go right to the page. You can see the keyword list. You can add your ASIN and just jump right into it. But right now you have the ability to start and run sessions similar to Keywords on Fire. And as soon as this loads, it's loading a lot of information here. As soon as this loads, you're going to see the difference right away. Now, a couple things that you're probably going to notice. You guys asked, we delivered, we added search volume and the Keywords on Fire score to the keyword list on the left here. This is going to allow you to not have to switch back and forth between Keywords on Fire and Listing Optimizer to figure out, especially when you're dealing with long tail keywords where the search volume is a lot lower, which keywords are the ones that you actually were trying to remember that were the most important to add to your listing. Now we display that for you right inside of Listing Optimizer. Now, how is this tool functionally different? Well, you can see here, we've added our listing and our main competitors. And you can just click through these tabs and we're going to update and show the optimization score, the search volume that they're optimized for, and the combined revenue that each individual seller is optimized for. And this makes just comparing your listing to your competition's 10 times easier. You don't have to open a bunch of different tabs. It just at a glance, it's super easy. You can see the scores, you know who you're comparing yourself against, and you can do this up to 8 times. So just, at a glance, a couple really interesting, cool updates there. Now, the user interface has been refreshed as well. You can see here that the optimization score is front and center. Now, what is the optimization score? Well, this is how your listing strength compares to other ZonGuru customers. Just a fun gamified way to see how your listing optimization skills stack up to other ZonGuru customers who are experts as well. Now, some other cool updates to the user interface as well. You get to see out of your keyword list how much of the total search volume you're currently optimized for. So you can see here, maybe we have a little bit of work to do. We're not optimized. We're optimized for a little over half of the total search volume. But look at this. This is a top 3% listing out of ZonGuru users. So this is an exceptionally well optimized listing. And then you can see the same for the combined revenue as well. Now, a couple really interesting things that our developers and actually the mastermind behind this, really our CTO, Stefan, really went to work doing is understanding what are the best industry practices right now for listing optimization and how do we bring that into this tool. A lot of us here at ZonGuru are sellers. Stefan has been at it for a long, long time. He knows the space really well. And in a lot of his experience and research, he's found, and as many of us know, that most of the juice from your keywords is going to be coming from the title. So we have really prioritized optimizing your title for the keywords that make the most sense. And this is front and center in this tool now, and it's really important to understand. What I mean by this is you can see we've now eliminated the title, bullet, description, and keyword icons that typically would have been in the keyword side over here. And we would show you if you're exact or broad matched in one of those 4 sections in your listing. But now we don't do that anymore. And the reason why is because we're putting much more weight on the title. Obviously, the bullets and the descriptions are very important, but the title is really where you're going to get the gold star for the search volume from that keyword. So if you have a gold star, that means your exact match for this keyword in the title. If you have a blank star, that means you're broad matched for that keyword in the title. If you have a check mark, that just means that you're broad matched in your listing somewhere. And if it's blank, you're not optimized at all inside of your listing for those keywords. And we're showing here the keyword that we're not optimized for. It's the bold one. It looks like live doesn't appear anywhere. Neither does home, neither does light, windowsill. And those are all keywords that might be really solid to add to our back-end listing copy at the very least. Now, this goes into the next kind of cool functionality and just really ease of use inside of this tool, which is we've made it really, really simple to add the keywords that you're missing into your back-end listing copy. So what do I mean by this? Well, let's go ahead and just hide the ones that we've used inside of our listing. We should see, yep, nothing but the ones that we're not currently using. So live herb plants, home garden, indoor herb garden kit with light. Let's go ahead. What I'm going to do here, this is, again, very cool. We have the ability to sort by search volume. So we can see here, Arrow Garden doesn't appear anywhere in our listing. I don't sell this product, so I didn't know what that word meant. I didn't know if it was necessarily applicable to this product or not. So this is a really just kind of 101 level technique, but you need to know the space that you sell in. So I looked up Arrow Garden. If I was selling this product, this would have been one of the first things that I did. If this is a really high value keyword, which it is, I want to make sure that I can actually add this into my listing and have it make sense. While it's not directly relevant to the product in that we're not selling an Arrow Garden, this is absolutely something we'd want to optimize for because it's not specific to a brand. There's no reason why we wouldn't want to optimize it. It's broadly relevant to our product. There's a ton of search volume. So what that means is if somebody's looking for an Arrow Garden on Amazon and we show up in the search results or we're indexed for that keyword, we're getting a little extra help from that keyword, which is really important. So we would want to add this as well. Now, I did the same thing for hydroponic. And hydroponic is relating to or involving hydroponics, the process of growing plants in sand, gravel, or liquid. That absolutely applies to this product. So we need to optimize for that as well. Now, I could spend all day probably tweaking and doing surgery on this listing and bringing this into the top 1%. And maybe, optimizing for another 50,000 total monthly searches. But this seller does a pretty good job. What I just want to show you is just a low-hanging, easy fruit. And that is just adding some of these high-value keywords that we're not using into our back-end listing copy. So we're going to go ahead and grab Arrow Garden and definitely hydroponic. Let's grab hydroponic kit and raised garden bed. That's a good one. Maybe a mint plant. I think that this herb kit has mints in it. We're going to do Arrow Garden, rosemary seeds. I'm just grabbing a few that I see. Tomato seeds. Let's see here. Probably not Grow Light. Smart Garden. Hydroponics plural. And maybe we'll throw in system as well and houseplants. And tower raised. You know what? Yeah, we should be pretty good with that. I think that's solid. Now, watch what happens to the number in this next move here. All I'm going to do is just go add to search terms, and it's going to add these words that we do not currently use in our listing, dedupe it, and add it directly into our search terms down here at the bottom. Add to search terms. There they are, deduped, and we've increased our score up to 3,000 optimization score points. We've also optimized for a ton more search volume without even having to do surgery on the listing and rewrite it. So really cool. And you can see here that this seller also doesn't take advantage of subject matter. So there's more room to add some of the keywords that we're not currently using. And we could definitely, if we spend about a half hour, bring this up to the top 1%. So that's that's the real meat and potatoes of the listing optimizer updates. Now, let me just see if I'm missing anything here. I don't think I am. You obviously have the ability to import more keywords from another Keywords on Fire session. You can add keywords manually. You can reload or clear the listing that we're showing. But I mean, this is really kind of the awesome part here, is that we are, allowing you to easily compare your listing copy against the competition and more seamlessly understand where you should insert those keywords based on the best industry practices. Now, one other thing I just want to point out is if you have any questions about this tool when you get to use it, I would believe Monday or Tuesday, go ahead and, as always, either reach out to our support team or use the interactive tour. This is going to show you step by step, kind of, if you forgot anything, rather than watch the replay of this video, how to go through the tool, and then you're going to get a tutorial at the very end. Hopefully everybody has a safe and awesome weekend. Bye for now.